Hey everybody, how's it going? We're back tonight with more Final Fantasy XIV. We're just about to get into Endwalker. How y'all doing out there? Let's get everything in its proper order. Sorry, been a little discombobulated recently. Let's see, we'll put that back on. Got that. That's not the right one. There we go. That's the right YouTube thing. Okay. Sorry about that. Still just getting over whatever kind of fatigue I've been dealing with. I don't know what's been going on, but I haven't been exactly at my best. Been trying to recover from it, though. I don't know why I'm as exhausted as I am. But you know, it is what it is. And we will just try to continue and move on with the day, so. Well, let's talk to everybody here. Okay, let's see what Alice says. Yep. That was about as awkward as expected. Still, we're here now, and that's all that matters. Fair enough, that's how I feel about going through customs every time. I'm fine, honestly, better to be waved through with a stern warning than denied entry after all. Fair. Allow me to extend unto thee my warmest welcome, Wily. May the wisdom of my homeland aid us in our endeavors. Okay, sure. Even allowing that the years I spent in the first passed here in the blink of an eye, the city feels untouched by time. You are doubtless eager to take in the sights. Not to worry, Wily. The city is not like to vanish before we finish our discussion. Here we are at last, the great city of Sharlayan. You may have noticed some similarities with the Crystarium, yes? In fact, Oh, but we really should let Kryle have her say first. We can continue this conversation at another time. We probably will never continue that conversation. I am unaccustomed to fabricating lies on demand. Why should it matter how I earn my living? Justinian's got a point. And fair enough, Adonis. Honestly, that is the kind of cooking failure that I have, like, the hardest time with, where it's like, it's not an outright failure, so it's not, like, justifiable to be like, you know what, I'm not eating this, I'm throwing it away, starting over. Because if it's still edible, right, there's no reason not to have it. But if it's not good, you can't really enjoy it either. So it's just kind of one of those things where that's honestly the worst thing in my opinion. I'd rather have something I outright hate than something I just can't feel, like, justified. And just being like, you know what, I'll just call it a loss. Well, let's see what Kryle has to say. Okay, Kryle sweeps the scions with a speculative look. And fair enough. I mean, at that point, you know, you gotta account for the fact that you can't always let pride get in the way of things. Pride is what stops anything from, you know, actually being able to happen. Oh, can't let Kryle keep talking on her own. I thought to launch directly into an explanation of what I've learned and how we might proceed. Ow. How's it going, Shar? How's the day been? But this is Wily and Justinian's first time in Sharlayan. And for the rest of you, a homecoming that was long overdue. You must have places you wish to visit and people you're dying to see. Therefore, I propose we postpone our agenda so that you may all have sufficient time to recover from your journey and get your bearings in the city. Once you've settled in, we can reconvene at the Baldessian Annex. How does that sound? 'Tis a fine suggestion. We may not be welcome at the Levier estate as such, but I should like to nose around the neighborhood all the same. I am equally untethered, as it were. There's no particular place that my kin call home. Still, I would not pass up the opportunity to reacquaint myself with the city. Likewise, a quick tour of our old haunts might even yield some useful gossip. The annex was west of the Aetheryte Plaza, wasn't it? I shall join you there anon. Yes, we'll see you there. I too have places I would be remiss in not visiting forthwith. By thy leave. What of you, Estinian? My services as a guide are yours for the asking. That won't be necessary. Until we reconvene, I prefer to wander as the wind takes me. But I could... Oh. She just wants to go off with Estinian. Well, Raha, would you like to join us, then? You've been gone for quite a while, and this would be the perfect way to refresh those dusty old memories of yours. Oh, of course. If you will have me. Come, Wily. Sharlayan awaits. Yes, we just have to walk around now, I think. Is this the first one of those types of quests? I think it is. Oh dear, his enthusiasm is infectious, isn't it? After you, my friend. I am more than content to follow your lead. Okay, yep. Just have him follow us? Okay. Let's see what he has to say right now, though. Do not forget Mistress Kryle, our worthy guide. All set? Then let us be on our way. Our first stop, amusingly enough, will be the last stand. It's a cafe on the west side of the harbor. Yep, it just tells us how to do this type of mission. Now, if we go here, we get extra dialogue, which I am all about. With all the unusual wares coming and going in all hours, I expect the assistance of an intrepid adventurer like you would be highly appreciated. I see no reason why you couldn't undertake any tasks which pique your interest. You have been cleared by the immigration officials, after all. I look forward to the day your name is celebrated in Sharlayan the same way it is in Eorzea. Okay, let's see what Kryle has to say. This place is called the Peristyle, and it is the first stop for cargo unloaded at the docks. You'll find the usual necessities for daily living and other imports vital to running an island nation, but also supplies that further Sharlayan's pursuit of knowledge, namely large quantities of books, specimens, and samples. Storing these stacks certainly seems to keep the attendants busy. Okay. Alright, so now we have a little lore for that area. Okay, the giant statue in the harbor. Now that is a sight one could hardly forget. The great statue of Thaliak, which we can't turn and see. As a student of Baldessian, I was usually quartered on the Isle of Val, but I would gaze upon the scholar's wise features every time I returned by ship to the city. Yep, that is a big-ass statue. This path leading out towards the sea is known as the Thaliak Stoa, so named for the statue of the scholar which stands at its end. As you know, the Sharlayan people prize the accumulation of wisdom above all else. Thus, when Thaliak was chosen as our patron deity, it was more a matter of pragmatism than belief. An alignment of principles, as it were. We may have honored him with a rather impressive sculpture, yes, but our faith is not so restrictive as that of, say, the Ishgardians. Individual Sharlayans can and do worship the other divinities of their choosing. Alright. You know, they never really get too far into religion in this game. I would like to know more about the religious practices of the people of Eorzea. Ah, yes, the last stand. Now that is an inviting aroma. And here we are, the last stand. I may have mentioned this before, but although our research into nutrition and food preparation is quite extensive, the average Sharlayan tends to regard seasoning and flavor with a certain indifference. How can I put this? The food is, it's bland. As encapsulated by our infamous Archon loaf, the prevailing sentiment towards cuisine is dietary value first, and taste a distant second. There was one pupil at the studium, however, who could stomach the school's insipid meals no longer. So he quit his lessons and poured all his savings into building a proper eatery. And so the last stand came to be. It is, as the name implies, the sole dedicated outpost to fine dining in Sharlayan. The one and only bastion of culinary arts in an aisle of otherwise mediocre fare. I seem to recall their burger being hailed as one of the more impressive items on the menu. Not that I ever had the pleasure of eating one myself. Because you were the typical Sharlayan when it came to cheap and convenient raha. But surely Tataru has since taught you how to appreciate a well-prepared dish. We should all stop when time permits and sample the cafe's delights. Shall we press on? The stairs to the side of the cafe there will take us up to the Aetheryte Plaza. Honestly, can you imagine living in a place where people just don't give a shit about food having flavor? That sounds absolutely horrifying. Onto the Aetheryte Plaza we go. We just need to head up the stairs next to the last stand. The students of Baldessian would send us to investigate phenomena in locations across the world, so our funds were always stretched thin, and any spare coin I had went to books that caught my eye. Food was the least of my concerns, though, now having lived through some rather harrowing times, I've learned what a fortunate thing it is to be able to eat your fill. You know, nothing like hardship to teach a person how to enjoy a proper bite to eat. So at least he learned. Now we're just gonna go see the, rather Nautilus-shaped Aetheryte. Yeah, I don't know. Something about the idea of living in a place where it's just, you know, not very, concerned with, like, the quality of food seems kind of terrifying to me. I don't think I could stomach that. The Aetheryte looks different from how I remember it. Unusual shape, isn't it? I assure you, however, it's a perfectly functioning Aetheryte. Remember to attune yourself before we move on. Now, being the diligent tour guide that I am, I should make mention of the Confluence, a research facility located in this very plaza. Its much vaunted discoveries are the same reason Sharlayan stands at the forefront of teleportation technology. In deciphering the underlying principles of Algan Aetherites, it allowed us to understand and reconstruct what was essentially a lost art. And off we go to our next destination. Our path leads northwest to the Agora, Sharlayan's largest marketplace. Okay, good, I'm already attuned. And now I will drink a little bit of water because I need it. Okay. Let's see, what does Grahati have to say? Oh, the markets. I always did look forward to seeing what new wares they had on offer. And who in the hell is texting me right now? Ah, Snapchat. I don't give a fuck. Stop texting me. Don't you just love it now that apps will text you to try and get you to reinstall them after you've just been like, you know what? I don't need this shit anymore. Fair enough. I hope it works out well. You've attuned yourself to the Aetheryte. Then let's continue on to the Agora. But first, let's go this way. Because there's extra lore to be had. See, recently I found a recipe for lava cake, and I really want to try and make that work. Like, chocolate lava cakes are one of those things that's like, every time I get a chance to have it, I will have it. But it's very rare that I go anywhere that actually has one. Speaking of Aetherites, those teleportation fees do add up after a while. Which is why I tended to rely on the far cheaper ferry services. I was pleasantly surprised when Mr. Sataru informed me that the Scions are reimbursed for transportation costs as a part of our duties. But I find old habits hard to break. That, and I'd rather not be bothered filling out all of the necessary paperwork. Wait, they get reimbursed for teleporting? I've been paying for that shit out of pocket for fucking years! I'm gonna have to have a talk with Tataru. That's the entrance to the confluence. I have no doubt their expertise will prove useful at some point, so I suggest you remember the way here. Okay, cool. And now, we go elsewhere. Oh hey, a bookstore. Do you mind if I browse the shelves for a moment? There might be some hidden gems I've yet to read. Only a moment? How optimistic. Feel free to browse all you like, but we won't wait around for you. Perhaps I'll return here later then. These little open-air bookstalls are so uniquely Sharlayan. I'd always thought them a common sight until I visited other nations. Alright. Well, hopefully the recipe turns out well. It's like, I've noticed sometimes when cooking with, like, hot sauces, there's something in it that will change inevitably while you're cooking with it, and sometimes it can just change the flavor in, like, the worst possible way. So hopefully that's not going to be the case here. I would just say be careful with that. Anything worth cracking my coin purse for today? I wonder. Welcome to the Agora, where you can find wares made in Sharlayan as well as a wide selection of import goods. They also used to sell questionable prototypes from the various research institutes, but I think that practice has thankfully died out, for the most part. Otherwise, I can think of no better place to stock up for your next big adventure. Am I overselling it? On a more serious note, the next stop on our tour is one that has particular relevance to our ultimate purpose here. We must head back to the Aetheryte Plaza, follow the path north, and then climb up the stairs to that imposing building at the very top. Fair enough. I mean, wherever you can get inspiration to make something, I think is a good idea. So, as long as it turns out, you know, well, then it's a worthwhile experience. Otherwise, just try not to get too frustrated with it. Actually, hold up. Let's talk to them before we go into that. This is a fascinating experience to walk around the city and contrast my image of the past with the reality of the present. And thank you for the ducks. How you doing, Hex? The building we're looking for sits at the top of the stairs, to the north of the 8th right. Just keep walking up and you'll reach it eventually. The district we're passing through is called Archon's Design, a name which honors the 7 individuals whose contributions were instrumental to the founding of Sharlayan. It is the city's political and financial center, and also hosts a collection of research institutions. My god, there's just so much reading. This is the Nymphium, an area dedicated to the blessings of water. For Sharlayans, water represents more than a life-sustaining liquid. It is a reminder of the great flood which precipitated the birth of our nation, as well as a symbol of the knowledge which flows from Thaliak's divine ewer. This is the reason you see an abundance of fountains throughout the city, and a propensity for utilizing water as a decorative feature in our architecture. These little decorative features are typical of Sharlayan architecture. Aside from the research wing, our headquarters on the island of Val were rather simple and rustic by comparison. And yes, cornmeal can be used as a thickening agent, but the thicker the sauce, the more likely you can cause it to burn. So again, I would just say be careful with how long it's in there and how high the heat is. Because you burn a hot sauce, it's gonna go a little weird. Okay, it's just the same thing that she said before. Okay, what's Graha got to say? Ah, what an invigorating breeze. A touch biting, perhaps, but pleasant nonetheless. This grand structure before you is the Rasta. The name refers to the original public forum erected here, upon which a forum of elected representatives would deliver orations and debate policy. Although the stage has since evolved into a council chambers, the nature of the forum and the duties of its members remain largely unchanged. Am I boring you, Raha? You seem awfully distracted. My apologies. From here one can see the entire city spread out below. The vista puts me in mind of my arrival to the first. Those who had gathered at the Crystal Tower asked me how they might go about building a new home. Naturally, my answers were all inspired by my knowledge of the finest settlement I could think of, the great city of Sharlayan. And bit by bit, those buildings grew into a town, a community, the Crystarium. I can almost see its echo. I see. Feel free to come up here whenever you wish. I don't think the counselors would object to you simply enjoying the view. Such memories should be treasured. For now, however, the tour must go on. Our spectacle of sightseeing concludes with the fittingly named Journey's End. Walk down the stairs to the east and continue straight ahead. The district of Journey's End occupies the eastern block of the city. So all we need to do is take the stairs down from the Rasta and keep heading east, of course. Seems simple enough. Do you not feel the cold? Granted, it is not terribly chilly for these northern climes, but compared to the temperate weather of Limsa, sounds like talking to a Californian whenever anything is like below 60. Like, I know people who think 60 degrees is like hot, right? But anytime you talk to a Californian, you're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be in the 60s today. They freak the fuck out. Like, I need to find a jacket, I need to get a sweater. Oh my god, it's almost winter. It's like, okay, calm down, it's not that bad. I always find it funny when people just like freak out over like temperatures and you're just like, you know, there are people who go out in shorts in this kind of weather. Also, I think I went the wrong way. I went west. I should have been going east. That'll teach me not to look at my compass. And fair enough, Adonis. And yeah, kinda. People will get pretty much like, oh no, I need to get bundled up, and it's just like, no, you don't. You really don't need to get bundled up for 60 degrees of weather. Just, you know, fucking long sleeves. That's the most you need. Everything else is just overkill at that point. Also, what does Graha have to say? Okay, yeah. We already saw what he had to say along with Carl. Okay. This neighborhood is home to the highest echelons of Sharlayan society. I never did feel comfortable enough to wander these streets on a whim. We've arrived at Journey's End. History tells us that this was where those who put ashore the Archon, whatever the fuck their name was, Yunkrip? I'm assuming it was a Rogadan, built their first homes. In the present day, it serves as the residential district for the most important officials and the oldest Sharlayan families. You'll see that one mansion is clearly larger than its neighbors. That estate belongs to our friends from House Leviur, and is all things considered, we should probably keep our distance for the time being. And with that, we bring our little Sharlayan tour to a close. I hope it has proven to be an entertaining and enlightening experience. Now, shall we head directly to Baldessian Annex? You remember the way, don't you, Raha? Well, let me think. Head down towards the harbor, cross the bridge to our right, then follow the path below the Aetheryte Plaza. Correct. After you, Wily. I'm gonna go to the building they told me not to go to. Ah, the good old Annex. I used to bunk there whenever I had business in the city proper. Like the time I came to submit the thesis for my Archon qualification. Now, I don't want to talk to you again, I want to talk to Kryl. Have I tired you out with all this walking? Not to worry, I had rooms prepared for you at the Annex. Just follow the path to the west side of the Aetheryte, and we'll be there in no time. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go here first and see if anyone gets mad at me for being here. Oh, Aetheryte shard. Let's get that. Okay. Will they let us in here? Yes, we've broken in. Let's fuck up their shit. This is the estate of House Leviur. If you do not have an appointment, I'm afraid I must ask you to leave. I'm going upstairs. Go fuck yourself. Okay, who do we have up here? We have Celia. Okay, small talk. It is my honor and pleasure to serve Lady Emeliance. There's no more beautiful and more kind-hearted person in the realm, and I am happy to attend her every need. Well then. Either they're lying, or she's actually a pretty good employer. But I've never seen anyone be that good of an employer, so I'm gonna go with a lie. We can go out this way. Oh, I've broken my legs. I think I'm gonna get a lawyer, sue them, maybe, you know, make a quick buck off of them. Just a thought. Anyways. Defrauding the Leviur estate aside, let's go to the Baldessian Annex. We didn't miss out on the, we did We have to go back. See, this is why you gotta check your map sometimes. So we just have to go down this one. They wanted us to circle back down. I was just like, nah, I'll go take the aetheryte. What could be the worst that could happen? Well, we could miss this. You know, while we're over here, we're just gonna grab this first. Then we'll backtrack over to that. Okay, we now have access to Journey's End. Neat. Okay, let's see. Before we go into this, what do you have to say? Okay, yeah, we've seen that, so we have talked to you already. I keep forgetting if I've talked to them before I jump into one of these things. Sharlayan is full of educational and research institutions, but there are still professors who prefer to establish their own private practices. Not that I ever attended the exclusive schools they run in these residences. Perhaps the twins could tell you more about them. How very posh of them. And how's it going, Caboose? How you doing? Right. We cross the bridge here, as I recall. Stick to the path and be careful not to end up back in the Aetheryte Plaza. Riveting. I do think that this needs to be added as, like, the next housing district, though. I really would like Sharlayan housing as a housing district. Chances are it's going to be somewhere else, but, you know, I think this should be a thing. This would definitely be the best one. Okay. Well, let's see what you got to say now. This is it, the Baldessian Annex. How informative. And nice, how are you enjoying the remaster? As the joyous look on Raha's face has undoubtedly informed you, this is the Baldessian Annex. If you continue up the hill, you'll arrive on the doorstep to the phenomenon. But I think we've explored enough for one day. We can take you there another time. Inside with you, then. Kryle's basically just be like, go to bed. We've done enough today. You can go to bed now. Nice. I'm back. And I've brought Wily and Raha with me. Ah, you're right about the ship then. Hello, Graha. It's nice to see you again. And a pleasure to finally meet you, Wily. I've heard many a tale about your exploits. Fun fact, if you've done Eureka, you get different dialogue for this. Ojika. Ojika Sujika. It's been an age. Allow me to introduce Ojika Sunjika, Administration Officer for the students of Baldessian. He oversees the day-to-day business of the Annex. The Champion of Eorzea has featured prominently in Kryle and Graha's reports, so for me, this is akin to seeing a fabled hero come to life. It is an honor to make your acquaintance. This place is like a second home to the students. The Isle of Val served as our main headquarters, of course, but we often had occasion to visit Sharlayan. Whether to make use of the city's research facilities, attend conferences, or procure supplies from distant shores. And the annex here was built to provide lodgings for our members while we engaged in such activities. Ever since our former headquarters, along with the Isle itself, vanished, the Annex has served as our base of operations. And yet, it feels so empty. With so many lost to us, our organization is now a shell of its former self. The day will come when we see the students rise again. But first, we must ensure that the Telophoroi fall. Through that door on the left is the main hall, where we can discuss our options moving forward. And thank you for the YouTube subscription there, Ren on Vacation. Hope you're having a good day. Welcome on into the stream. We are just working through the beginning of Endwalker. We are going to be seeing a lot of that room, but not quite as much as we should hope. Once everyone arrives... Sorry. I completely butchered that word. Let me try that again. Once everyone arrives, that is. You probably have time to rest before our discussions begin in earnest. I've had private quarters prepared for you in the Andron, so please, feel free to make yourself at home. Ah, the nap rooms. Perfect for an afternoon doze. They make the lodgings sound so infantile. Oh, I didn't mean to give you the wrong impressions. The chambers are quite well appointed. Far more than some cheap roadside inn, you may be assured. 'Twas simply that we were often so busy with research, or exhausted from journeys abroad, that we would slip into the Andron just to steal a few winks. And thus they became known amongst the students as nap rooms, even if many such naps might last well into the following morning. That is called sleeping. Say the word and I'll be happy to show you to your chamber. Hopefully the others won't be too long in coming. I'll wait for you all in the main hall. Welcome back, Wiley. Ready for a nap? I would appreciate if you stopped making me feel and sound like a child. Hey, what's that you're standing on there, huh? Gotta have a step stool to use a normal, not even a normal bench. This is a low bench. Look, it's not even at the top of my thighs. You're very short. Don't condescend to me. You don't even have the ability to condescend. You can't talk down to me. You have to look up to talk to me. But yes, I would like to go to my room. Clean sheets and warm blankets await. Rest as long as you like. Okay, I think I will. I do have to say these are probably my favorite inn rooms in the entire game. Like, I don't know, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I still think Gridania might be the one that I like the most, but I think this one overall has the best design. Probably the best way of putting it. But yeah, now that we've been here, let's go to the cutscene. And fair enough, Caboose. I really need to start doing that one as well, so anytime you're ready to go venture in there, let me know. Do you have papers pasted on the walls of your room? Which was not unusual for the occupants to pin up notes or documents and such, and then forget to take them down when they were on their merry way. Ow! Hex, what did I do? Why the bonk? Is it just to bully me? Is that what you want? Just to be able to hit me with the bat? Beloved traditions that I should know better than to dwell upon if we are to create a future for the students of Baldessian and many others. Sorry, and so many others. We must— ow! Thank you for the ducks. We must look to the days ahead. And let's go talk to Krile. Also, that YouTube count is incorrect. We need to fix that. Because it was 59 earlier, so we're now at 260. Which I like to say is pretty good, considering I've been really slacking on making videos recently and I really need to get back to them. Okay, what's up, Krile? Feeling refreshed and alert. Our colleagues should be wandering in soon, so I suggest we stay here and wait for them to join us. Makes sense?
Pray forgive me. I was delayed.
You are not forgiven, Urianger. You will not be forgiven until you speak normally.
We're all here now.
Never mind. You're still already forgiven.
Let's get down to business then, shall we? Come what may, we must prevent the Telophoroid's plans from coming to fruition. At present, I see two paths for gathering the information which may aid us in achieving that goal. The first involves an investigation into the change which has come over Sharlayan, not to mention the recent inscrutable behavior of the Forum. As most of you know, the 99 members of the Forum are elected from the general populace. This alone guarantees a plethora of opinion with regards to foreign policy. The bibliotheques, for example, are a group of conservatives which would have Sharlayan focus on recording history, while remaining entirely uninvolved in the making of it. And at the other extreme, we have advocates for proactive diplomacy and direct intervention. My grandfather Galef was one such member, as was Archon Louisois. Yet despite our diverse factions and philosophies, the recent vote to deny Eorzea's request for assistance was unanimous. Even more concerning was the fact that many cited other, more pressing duties as justification for their recalcitrance.
Fortuno's refusal in Gridania had those same undertones. 'Twas as if, having stared unblinking into the face of impending doom, he had simply turned away to pursue something more important. But what could that possibly be?
I have a feeling we're about to find out.
A mystery indeed, and one which I ask for your help to solve. Our future may depend on it. As for our second potential path, it concerns a request made directly to the students of Baldessian. Our organization was founded primarily to study strange and unexplained phenomena the world over. Mysterious relics and ruins, arcane disturbances, and so forth. Compared to our more isolationist Sharlayan colleagues, we have strong connections overseas, namely with scholars and academics who share our passion for the unknown. The request in question comes from one such acquaintance, Nidana, an alchemist residing in distant Favner. Her missive describes the sudden appearance of a tower, and the subsequent summoning of what I can only assume is a lunar primal. In response to this threat, the satrap of Rads at Han, the individual who governs the city-state, has instructed the alchemists to find a means to deal with the spire.
The artisans of that land are heirs to an ancient tradition. one rather unlike that of their Uldan counterparts. 'Tis
Oh?
possible, nay, probable, that they have gleaned truths unattainable by Eorzea or her Far Eastern allies.
Now we need to find out what that tradition is, don't
They
we?
do, in fact, appear to have a strategy in mind, though it will require further research. To that end, they have requested an introduction to a capable warrior shielded by the blessing of light.
Assuming we divide our forces to pursue both of Kral's lines of inquiry, then having you join the group heading to Thavnair would seem the obvious choice.
Makes sense.
But the investigation in Sharlayan is of vital importance as well. Equal, I think, to the Thavnarian one, given that the fate of the world may hinge on the results of both.
Okay, so divide and conquer. Got it.
Yes, it is quite the quandary. Though it is a great imposition and an altogether too common one, our efforts would be more likely to succeed were you to lead the charge on both fronts.
God, these people can't do anything without me, can they?
You are indeed our champion. As to which task to tackle first, we will defer to your decision. Let us next decide how everyone else might best be assigned.
Right, Hex? It's like they want me to become
As
two
for
Lalafells
myself,
in a trench
I shall
coat.
continue what I've begun in Sharlayan. I should also like to steal the services of an Archon or two.
And thereby gain access to a greater range of reading material. I will help with that.
Allow me to offer my assistance. I have some small amount of experience in the field of research.
Don't they all?
Alice and I would also like to help, if you would have us.
Anything to understand even a fraction of what our father and the Forum might be thinking.
Of course, the more the merrier.
Right. The rest of us will make the journey to Thavnair.
You ever notice how dead Thancred's eyes usually
Thoughts?
look?
Objections?
I passed through Thavnair on my way to infiltrate the Empire, and though I'm not qualified to give a guided tour, I did gain a sense of where things lie.
I'll be happy to have you along then. So for this group, it will be you, me, and Urianger.
Give me a moment afterwards, and I'll supply you with all the details of Nadana's request. Consider this hall our rendezvous point once our respective tasks are complete. May our investigations prove fruitful.
Well, time to do everything for everyone. Ain't that just great? But yeah, they really do just want me to become two people and do everything at once, right? Am I not the only one that has that feeling where it's just like, do y'all even care about how the Warrior of Light is handling things? Like, if anyone gave me as much work as they do, it'd be a bit fucked. And it looks like they're giving us the option of which one to do first. So I think we're going to go with the research group first. Then we're going to go adventuring. But before we do any of that, Twitch is making us take a break. So let's find some music first. And then we'll be right back. Also, if I wasn't mistaken in reading the use policy, I'm allowed to use whatever Square Enix music I want to for streams, so we'll be getting some of the music that Square Enix put on their own YouTube. And that should be completely fine in avoiding any kind of copyright anything. So let's go to break real quick once the music loads in. Anytime now. Sorry, this stuff just likes to take a while. There we go. And we will be right back. Catch y'all in a minute. And we're back. Sorry about being on break while you came into raid. Who the hell got deleted by the mods? Anywho, how you doing? Let me just catch up with the chat, see where we all are. Yeah, welcome on in, Fire. How's the stuff been going? I know you're doing your fundraiser this month for St. Jude. Yeah, how you doing? What were you playing tonight? Ah, it was a bot? Okay. Want to make sure nobody said anything, you know, unfortunate. And I didn't get the chance to see it so I could ream them in public. See, that's my favorite thing of anyone saying anything that's completely and utterly not okay on Twitch, is to be able to have the chance to just completely and utterly verbally eviscerate someone who deserves it. Anyways, Glad you're doing well, Fire. And I have seen that you were playing Discord. I'm sorry, not Discord. Playing Atlas a little bit. I read 2 messages while I was speaking, and my brain just picked up the word Discord from Hex's message. This is why you need to make sure that you aren't easily distracted when you read things. And fair enough, Hex. Always appreciated. And thank you for the resub there, Fire. God damn, 14 months! Holy shit! Adonis, I think you have competition here. You may be on the 12-month streak, but Fire's got the 14 months. But yeah, hope everything's been going well with the fundraiser and everything streaming-wise has been going pretty smooth. You know, no hiccups with OBS or anything, because I know that can definitely just mess up the flow of things. And thank you for the head pat, much appreciated, Caboose. Now let's talk to Grahatia. Because we're not talking to Kryl right now. Kryl can be ignored for a little bit. Don't worry, she's used to it. Yoshi-P's done this a lot. Just wait till we get to Dawn Trail. Then you'll really see how badly Kryl gets ignored. And fair enough, I'm happy about it too. I'm glad to see, you know, everyone here just generally being people that stick around for a while. It is kind of a nice feeling to be able to come into just streaming and have people that you know and have known for a while be in chat. It's just kind of a nice feeling, you know? And fair enough. It definitely will. But yeah, you know, doing fundraising stuff is always fun. I used to actually do a fair bit of fundraising work in college. Because when I was in a fraternity, we actually, like, had, like, our specific thing that we would do. And for us, it was, like, raising money for, like, what is it? SIDS research. If you don't know or aren't familiar with SIDS, I think it's also something that St. Jude actually might do a little bit of research into it as well. It's sudden infant death syndrome. And it's one of those horrible things that just, you know, people have put a lot of time and research into, and hopefully they'll start figuring out how to make it a thing of the past entirely. And thank you very much for the follow there, Pokemon Captain 96. I think that's a 6. Let me get closer to my other monitor to make sure. Yeah, 96. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Yeah, how you doing? Welcome to the stream, and also Raiders, welcome to the stream. I am Wily Coyote, your friendly neighborhood shock rock VTuber. I play a lot of different kinds of games. I usually do variety, and Final Fantasy XIV has been one of my staple games. We're currently at the beginning of Endwalker, and it's been a pretty good experience getting to play through all of this again. Alright, good to know and glad to hear it. My brain is kind of flatlining as I'm talking. You might notice every once in a while I drag things out. That's because my brain goes through like 5 different sentences at once and needs to parse out the one that I'm actually saying. The fun of having an ADHD brain, I think way too many things all at once. Sometimes I'm not even thinking about what I'm saying. I'm doing something entirely different in the back of my mind, like trying to figure out when I'm going to be able to actually put out time to finish reading The Hobbit for the second time. Again, not anything anyone needs to know about. It's just one of those things that's in my brain and just constantly like, when am I going to get time to do that, huh? And it's just there. So I'll start thinking and it will just be running in the background and just completely throw off every other sentence I'm trying to say. I also have the same thing going on with thoughts about how I'm gonna work around Friday's stream, because I am trying to get my computer upgraded, which means the computer that I'm on is going to be out of commission for a little bit. And the new one is, I mean, it's basically a fully new machine. It's getting 2 parts from the one I'm currently using. And it had to be built because this one is actually old enough that none of the components save the cooler and the GPU are ready for Windows 11. So that's a thing. That's also been on my mind. So yeah, kind of trying to get all the thoughts at once to go cohesively and put the things that I don't need to do in the back of my mind and compartmentalize them while continuing to talk to all of you beautiful people here. So bear with me if my brain flatlines a little bit. I have a lot going on this week that my brain is not used to. And nice, I've actually been meaning to get back into playing Minecraft. I have not been in there in a hot minute. I have finally updated my client, which is a good thing. And I did find out that apparently I actually played... Kicked my desk there, sorry about that. That I have, like, actually migrated my Mojang account because I was one of the people who played it in, like, the first years of it. So, you know, always interesting to be like, oh yeah, I forgot, it's a completely different thing now because it's owned by Microsoft and they just kind of dealt away with the old thing. That is a good question, Hex. I will have to get back to you on that one. That is, that's something I'll have to think about. But yeah, I enjoy Minecraft, I haven't gotten back into it. I don't know, I'm not one of those people who gets, like, captured by one game entirely. I always have to, like, cycle through things. But anywho, hope everyone who is hanging out has a good time here. We are gonna continue reading whatever the hell Grahatia has to say. I do kind of put off whatever he has to say, not because I dislike the character, but I think it's funny that, you know, he's always so excitable, it's so easy to ignore him. It's one of those things. It's just like, ah, Wily, you're... Walk right past him. Every time. Just to fuck with him. You know, it's like when you're playing with a dog, right? And you go to throw the ball, and then you let it fall down the back of your arm, and you catch it with the other hand, and they go to look for the ball. And they're completely confused. That's Grahatia. Every single time. Anyways. Our tour of the city was a pleasant distraction. I feel more than ready now to tackle the challenges of the day. I mean, he did it to himself. He's just so easy to trick. The process by which the forum members are elected is fair and equitable. Neither wealth nor social standing offers any advantages to a prospective candidate. But fairly elected or not, Master Matoya still found them all to be insufferable. She kind of finds everyone to be insufferable, though. She's kind of an old crone, that's why she has the witch hat. If the forum is intent on concealing its intentions, then a cursory investigation will avail us little. I suspect we will need to dig deeper with the greatest of care. I still don't understand how the vote could be unanimous. What could possibly convince them all to turn their backs on Eorzea? And fair enough, Fire. Completely understandable. Do get some good rest and have a good day tomorrow at work. And it's been great seeing you. I hope we will be able to catch up either next time you're streaming or whenever you have some time off of work. Just feel free to hit me up on Discord. Okay, let's see what Urianje has to say. It's probably going to be some old Elizabethan speech. Oh wait, no, it's mostly normal English. Okay, we can read this. Though I have read much on the subject of Radz-at-Han, this visit shall be my first. 'Twill be interesting to see how the Honish mean to contend with the tower. Different as their magical and technological disciplines are. Alright, I will do my best to be there. I do believe you are about, like, what, 3 hours ahead of me? So, depending on time of the morning, I will hopefully be able to make it. I can't promise anything because you do tend to stream very early for me. But if I'm up at that time, I will be in there. okay, you'll be streaming all day, then yes, I definitely will be able to drop by. So it's back to Thavnair. Had I known earlier, I would have considered more suitable attire. And let's talk to Kryl. Kryl is intent on discovering the reason behind the forum's inexplicable behavior. Then we shall go that way. Have a nice night and sleep well. I will catch you later, Fire. An unsettling change has overcome Sharlayan, but together we will divine the underlying cause for the forum's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the counselors directly is a fruitless effort. Sorry, fruitless endeavor. Same thing, different word. They seem to have already come to a consensus as to what and how little they are willing to divulge. Which is why I began scouring Sharlayan's archive of historical records for any hint of a connection to the final days. Suffice it to say, that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day, but now that I have this band of willing reinforcements, the search should proceed all the swifter. What did she have before? Unwilling enforcements? Anyways, let us reconvene outside Numenon, shall we? Exit the annex to the right, and you'll find the archives on the western edge of the woods. And now for a drink of water to contend with my horrible dehydration. Because for some reason, my air conditioning decided it was going to shut off in the middle of the night. I sleep very hot, so I sweat a lot in my sleep, so I'll lose, like, a lot of water, because I just, for some reason, I run an internal temperature of somewhere over 105. I think it has a little something to do with searing most of my pores shut, but, you know, that couldn't possibly be the issue. Couldn't possibly be in any way, shape, or problem that I have sustained first to second degree burns on a rather extensive portion of my body from fire dancing. Couldn't possibly be that. Anywho, because California is a desert, I wake up extremely thirsty most of the time, and then I just forget to drink for most of the day. So, I haven't had a drink of water since like 10 in the morning. So, if you hear me just chugging down water right now, that's me restoring all of the water that I probably should have had. At some point, I'm going to forget water for like a week and just, you know, probably end up human jerky. Hopefully not the case of anytime soon, but I might accidentally be mummifying myself simply by forgetting to drink water. I really do need to do a better job of it. At this point, I'm starting to think like I need people to message me like every 2 hours, just like, have you drank a fucking bottle of water yet, you idiot? Probably would help. I wouldn't put that on anyone, though. I probably need to put, like, some kind of note in my phone to go off every 2 hours. Just like, drink water, moron! Which, honestly, probably isn't a bad idea. But yeah, fun fact, I'm always incredibly mean to myself in my own notes. Do I find it funny? Maybe. Why do I do it? No clue. It's just always been how I write to myself. Just like if I have something for myself to do in the morning. Dear fuckhead, do not forget to go to the DMV. Your license is about to expire, and then you'll be even more fucking useless without it. Signed, your dumbass self. Yes, I do sign my notes to me. Don't worry about it. My directions were easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of Numenon, Sharlayan's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building is actually only an entrance. And one of many at that, for the archives of Numenon extend deep beneath the surface, like the roots of a tree. The vast halls of the Great Google Library pale in comparison to Numenon's endless maze of subterranean chambers. I know most of the names of this, like the area in Sharlayan, are taken from like Greek roots, but does anyone know where the term Numenon comes from? I have a feeling I've heard like the name before, and I mean like before anything in Final Fantasy. But for some reason, it's not going together. It's not clicking. Anywho. Any Cidians of Sharlayan... Sorry, any Cidian... Words! Sorry. Brain. Fucking work, please. Any citizen of Sharlayan is free to enter and peruse its shelves. Well, most of the shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to the certain restricted vaults. Was that such a hard line to read, Brain? I've dispatched Y'shtola and Raha to investigate this. Meanwhile, Alice and Alphinaud will help me continue my search through the stacks open to the general public. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you are only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should probably be a number of books which touch upon Sharlayan history or foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of the subjects will make it easier to spot the sort of clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I've told the others to meet us at the stone... Okay, at the stone benches over there. For some reason, my brain transposed that word to branches, and I was like, stone branches? That doesn't make sense. Anywho. Meet us at the stone benches over there once they've found some promising tomes. Happy reading. For some reason, I read stone branches, and all I could think of is like, have you seen those petrified trees that are like underwater? All I could think of was that. Anyways, the title on the spine reads, The Story of Sharlayan. Read the book? Yes. Long, long ago, on an island in the Northern Sea, there lived a Rogadin man by the name of Nunkempf. I knew it! I knew it was a fucking Rogadin! Nunkempf, or Krempf, whatever the fuck his name is, was a student of astrology, and he divined that a flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep over the lands of Eorzea. So, it was that he built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail for the imperiled realm. The flood arrived as foretold, and to their horror, the strangely churning water drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Nunkempf's crew hauled them aboard his ark. But the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel to pieces. With only moments to spare, Nunkempf wove a mighty spell of teleportation, and shifted the entire ship to safety atop Alabatha's spine. Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there, alongside them. But it was not long before disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Saddened by the sight, Nunkempf gathered his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the ark to those reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast, where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island, and settled upon that very spot. That settlement prospered and grew, and in time, it became the city of Sharlayan we live in to this day. Okay. And we have a red covered book. What covered book was the other one? Brightly colored. Really? Just brightly colored? Okay. Brightly is not a color. So it needs to be some kind of brightly colored book of some kind of color, and now I'm confused. Not to mention, none of these books on this shelf are any way, shape, or form bright. Anyways, the title on the spine reads, Roads of Old, the Colony. Okay. Many years ago, on the banks of Thaliak in Dravanian hinterlands, the Sharlayan colony once thrived. Yes, there we go, Hex. That is the right answer. It looks like a pair of pants from the 1980s. This settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to study the ethereal sea in the year 1311 of the 6th astral era. Yes, that's right, I didn't read it 1311 just because I wanted to confuse people. Deal with it. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged gradual expansion in the structures and services. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students, hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of the Sharlayans. 50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as an official Sharlayan colony. Eorzean residents took to calling the colony itself Sharlayan, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, some Sharlayan inhabitants, if pressed for a name, would simply refer to it as Emporium. Following the Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed for themselves... let's try that again. Following the Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed for themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Idleshire. The following chapters go on to introduce the most prominent feature of Idleshire. The book does not appear to contain additional information on the Forum or cover the history of Sharlayan Motherland in great detail. Good to know. It's a useless book. There's a blue-covered book over there, which might be useful. But there's a leather-bound tome here. Everything good comes from a leather-bound tome. The voice of a growing city. Sure. In the years which followed the founding of Sharlayan, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at the Ecclesia, a public forum which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. The larger number of participants gave rise to ever longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. Various measures were introduced, and in an attempt to curtail protracted discussions, but in the year 201 of the 6th astral era, it was ultimately decreed that Sharlayan would transition to a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst their peers by means of a nationwide vote. Thus, the Forum, as we know today, was conceived and created. So they went from direct democracy to representative democracy. Which, according to an Indian guru I was watching, there's this little bit that people don't think about when they think about the word democracy. And let's bring that up real quick, because it's funny whenever I think about it. So we're gonna interact with this. Okay, I think this is what it is. There we go, yes. This guy, I think his name is Osho, according to this one. It's a short clip.
Democracy basically means...
Oh, sorry. That needs to be a little bit higher. Yeah, this clip, for some reason, it always... it makes me laugh, because he does kind of have a point.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Like, it's a little fucked up. But he's got a point. And thank you for the resub. How you doing there, Raina? We were talking about how Sharlayan went from a direct democracy to a republic democracy, or a democratic republic, right? Because they went from having everyone in the city being able to talk at their forums to pass, laws and everything. And then they went to electing only 99 people. And they changed the way their government in Old Sharlayan works. And it reminded me of that clip. And yes, you did get on Twitch for this. The absolute fucking chaos of my mind. But yeah, Osho actually had a point there. Not very well conveyed. But there is actually a problem with democratic systems. But I don't like to get too far into politics on stream, but the easiest way to put it is any point in time where you don't have any, amount of checks and balances for qualifications for being able to vote on matters, and everyone can just have a vote, regardless of, what the topic of conversation is, whether they're an expert or not, it leads to a lot of bureaucracy. And that's how you end up with problems. And bureaucracy is bad. So, that being said, let's get back to reading books. The spine on this one reads, An Introduction to the Heavens. So there's two ways that this book could go. This book could either be an autobiography by Kurt Cobain, or an erotica book. Which one are we hoping it to be, chat? Let's find out. I'm hoping Kurt Cobain autobiography. And it's not. Fair enough. Yeah. Have you ever gazed at the sky above and contemplated the mysteries contained therein? I speak not of shifting cloud patterns, but of the vastness beyond, of the sun and twinkling tapestry of the night. Yeah, it definitely sounds like this book might be erotica. Some think of the dome above us to be a finite space. Yet, amongst the leading thinkers of our age, one scholar's depiction of a boundless sea of stars has firmly taken root. Alas, this heavenly sea remains an unreachable, unknowable destination. There are few indeed who can explain in satisfactory detail why our own star is believed to revolve around the sun. I believe Copernicus had an answer to that one. Also, it turns out I was wrong on both guesses. It was the technologists of Allegan who came the closest to understanding the laws which govern the starry abyss. It was they who launched Dalmud and sought to expand beyond our earthbound existence. Having read their ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in this field of study waxed or waned? I don't think we really read much about any of the field for any of that to matter, but okay. What if I were to tell you that the eternal constellations were arranged differently in the distant past, that their positions continue to shift almost imperceivably, but measurably as we journey into the future? Would it shock you to learn that the stars drift further and further apart and may indeed do so forever. Are you eager to learn more? Why does that sound like Unsolved Mysteries? This book is on the wrong subject. Search for works in which contain details on the forum or might mention the history of Sharlayan. They really put in a book there just to be like, hey fucker, don't get distracted. Okay. Forever 20 Summers. This one has to be smut. That sounds very much like a smut title. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put learning before your health? Neglected to feed and rest your body as you should? Oh god, it's worse, it's an infomercial. I too once engaged in such foolish practices, but one night, engrossed in philosophical study, I had an epiphany. For all the world's mysteries that drive us to reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life in which to achieve our goals. Thus, do I share with you this mantra. I'm forever 20 summers young. It is so much worse than a fucking infomercial. It's a self-help book. Can we throw this out? This is not worthy of being in this library. The number itself is unimportant. You can be 19, or 23, or 40, whatever age you are when you discover this manual. Let that be the age you aspire to remain. Through mindful, healthy living, you'll extend your time available to spend upon your chosen research. Another day, another moon, another summer to grasp the greater truths you pursue. In the pages that follow, we will explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical condition from a biological, aetheriological, and arcane viewpoint. Yeah, no, not a fan. Putting that one down. The faded title reads The Stewards of Wisdom. Ah, this might be right. This might be the thing we need. During the chaos of the Sixth Unrural Era... Sorry, the Sixth... Anyone else have a problem saying the word sixth? It's kind of a fucked up word when you think about it. Anywho, Umbral Calamity. Archon Nooncrump, founder of Sharlayan, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought to the brink of despair. Upon raising a settlement on an island in the Northern Empty, he instructed his people thus: renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. The Sharlayans took to heart the words of their savior, and henceforth served as stewards of wisdom. Upon a foundation of accumulated learning, they built a homeland unlike any other, a nation born from strength of minds rather than strength of arms. With knowledge of economics came shrewd trading. With knowledge of agriculture came bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth of expertise could be bartered for wealth and coin. And the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind as a whole would thrive. And so it was that no matter the trials and tribulations of the age, the citizens of Sharlayan would live by their founding teachings. Hold on a second. Don't know if you could hear it, but for some reason my door swung open on its own, so I had to go fix that. Because I could hear a family member being loud as hell. Anyways. And so it was that the trials and tribulations... And so it was that no matter the trials and tribulations of the age, the citizens of Sharlayan would live by their founders' teachings. For the sake of a better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star, they would eschew the tools of war, and with knowledge deliver the world. You have gained a fundamental understanding of Sharlayan history and foundation of the Forum. head outside to the rendezvous point and await your companions. We can do that. Or we can maybe find some extra books to read. Never mind. Guess we're going over to the benches. There we go. And hold on a second. You ever sneeze so hard you accidentally launch your headset right off of you? Because I just managed that. That was not fun. Sorry, were you waiting long? Yep, I was waiting long in the snow. How dare you? At least I think that's snow. Could be from the falling pattern, also ashes. Who knows? Is there a fire going on nearby? I wanted to make sure I'd borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alphino and Kryles should be along shortly. I was delayed in a similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mentioned the final day specifically, so we have no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tomes. If they even are that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare, and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate, plenty of comfortable places to read, and a ready supply of hot tea. Oh, I was always quite fond of reading outside. They're going with the sad music now. That's kind of a problem. Anyways, but it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After our arrival, we've managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alphino and I were to return, we're not to be allowed to cross the threshold. You know who seems absent in this conversation? Any mention of their mother? Just pointing that out there. A harsh measure indeed. I hope our efforts to understand his position, and that of the Forum, will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day. I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? Ah, well, my situation is somewhat complicated. I was raised in Sharlayan, yes, but I was born rather further away. In the southern seas, in the southern reaches of Ilsabard, in fact. For generations, my people have dwelt in Corvos, a coastal region, opposite the island of Thavnir. The Alligans founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship brought in the subjugated tribes of the Makote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the Fourth Umbral Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign, and when the Fifth Calamity froze the seas solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvos braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain that they might prevent the remnants of Allagan technology from being misused. Isn't Corvos under Garlean rule? For the past 50 years, yes. Some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for most imperial provinces. But Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amogus. Seems like a sus land. Anyways, when I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus. House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Allegan civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Allegan no longer passed to our eldest children as reliably as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Alleg. As the last child born with the Allegan, I was given over to the custody of friends and the students of Baldessian, who had me registered as a Sharlayan citizen. I never considered. Forgive me, it was an unkind question. Even Thancred was taken in by Archon Louis Sois, was he not? Stories of adopted waifs and rescued orphans are more common among Sharlayans than you might think. Yet, regardless of our origins, we are all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient... I don't even know that word. Perspicacity? I don't know. We outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. It is exactly why I have such a love for this country, and why I wish it to remain a nation in which its citizens can be proud. Hear, hear. Another good reason to get to the bottom of the Forum's stubbornness, aside from the trifling matters of our impending doom. Excuse me, while we try to make some headway into these books, Wily, more companies should be arriving any moment now. Oh, I guess, you know what? I'm gonna talk to them first. Just like, go away, we're reading. There are others better suited to poring over old history books, so I thought I'd try my luck with more recent events, if I can find anything to better inform the Forum's baffling behavior. What else do I know of Corvus? Precious little, I'm afraid. I've not returned since Master Galuf first brought me here. I can tell you that Corvosi rebels still seek to slip the yoke of their Imperial masters, though the fighting is far less fierce than it once was. Oh, and they have excellent carpets. Flying carpets. The legends are quite extraordinary. Okay. We've returned with our selections. Although I must say, the pickings were quite slim indeed. Mr. Skrile had already flicked through history books devoted to disasters and more than a few which barely made mention of them. As such, we will be looking into research papers on the Umbral calamities, as well as articles written by prominent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days comes from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days? I'm the only one here who didn't witness the events of Amarat firsthand, and I fear I may be overlooking critical details. Yeah, okay, go ahead, shoot. My thanks. Now, where to begin? First things first, what kind of phenomena did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh? Anyways, Primal's unrivaled power, worst kind of phenomena you can imagine. A complete destabilization of creation magics, which is far beyond our reach. Yes, the unfolding catastrophe wrought havoc on all manner of life. The chaos extended to the ancients themselves, causing their powers of creation to spiral out of control. Fear and despair manifested in terrible, tangible fashion. Meteors raining from the sky, fire erupting from the ground, and indescribable abominations prowling the streets. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until the present day, we might have had something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, those techniques were not preserved or passed on. Ishola surmises that the closest known magic is that of summoning rituals promulgated by the Ascians. Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of the final days? The entire star was engulfed in disaster all at once. They say it began with a keening sound from the land itself. And you know what? Elfino, you can answer this one. Me? Well, as you wish. There we go, we're making him useful. The Amaritines were debating the cause of an anomaly which had been observed in the lands across the sea. By this fact alone, we could deduce that the final days occurred not all at once over the world, but rather had a point of origin from which it began to spread. Others also spoke of a keening sound rising from the land itself, just before the region was visited by catastrophe. We never did hear the sound ourselves, of course, thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. So the ground was crying out, you say? To be considered the harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, and probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with one of Numenon's mammoths, and ask for any books which make mention of such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? Well, they didn't knock Dalamud from the sky. That is kind of funny. They summoned Zodiark. We'll just tell it as it is. Yes, with Elidibus serving as his heart, so many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not exactly know how Zodiark brought salvation to the star. Only by his godlike will were the laws of nature set aright. Then, once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Lives sprouted anew, and it was these fledgling souls they intended to render unto Zodiark, a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have, had Vana and her followers not manifested their opposition in the form of Hydaelyn. Thank you, both of you. For the detailed review, I feel much more confident now in my understanding of events. I like how Alice and Grahati are just back there like, are we going over the books at any point? Anyways, with all that freshly in mind, it makes me wonder what the Telophoroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. We've seen what they're doing in the towers of theirs. Sorry. We've seen what they're doing with those towers of theirs. It's forcing people to summon primals of a kind of catalyst. Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech? A convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash. But this is all just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let us return our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for Y'shtola. But 'tis time we began to study these research papers. And how's it going, Callie? How you doing? Okay, let's see what Kryl has to say. It really is comforting to have all these dedicated assistants on hand. Right then, enough chatting. More reading. Okay. Alphino, what about you? Many forum members are also researchers or professors. If they know aught of the final days, then that knowledge might surface in their writing. That is my hope, anyway. Oh, I already talked to Graha about this, which means I've also talked to Alice. Fair enough. That I have not heard. But hey, if it's back there, you at least, you know, got an easy place to pick up parts. I wish we had one closer to me. I'm the last, am I? Well, my extended search of the Archon stacks produced one or two possibly useful books. But I wouldn't get your hopes up. If you recall, Urianger learned the source's reflections from the Garen oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, that tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Google Library. 'Tis even less likely that knowledge of the unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason, then, that my colleagues, be they Archons or Conciliars, should perforce but be largely ignorant of the subject. Yet, when you confronted Master Fortuno of the knowledge of the Telafroi and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us. Which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior, it is kept secret from the rest of the nation. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty. Whether they contain mention of the final days or no, these books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. Shit, I have to read. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing really like micro-centered down in SoCal. There's one place I can think of, but like not in the section of SoCal that's anywhere near me. So it's a little bit of a problem. You labor for what feels like an age as Y'shtola's research assistant. Damn. Well, okay, let's see what Y'shtola has to say. Thank you for your help, but I think I can manage the rest without your assistance. If I were you, I'd steal a few quiet moments for myself. Oh dear, you look exhausted. But what about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subjects I mentioned? Then the day was well spent. Should you wish to read them again, a mammoth at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. For the moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. We might be occupied with our research for quite some time. And with that, Twitch is telling me I need to take another break. So, I will be right back after these messages. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to take a little longer than usual. Because, not only was my leg asleep, but let's just say, I can't tell if it was a nerve that I sat on or just something to do with, like, all the blood in my body, but there was a large portion of other things that should not have been asleep that were. And it's a little concerning when stuff like that happens. And also, like, my foot was kind of aching, which always is a fear. Because, fun fact, my blood is actually a little bit more viscous than what you would say the normal viscosity of blood is supposed to be. And because of that, my family kind of has, you know, some clotting issues. So, anytime I feel like a pain in my foot when I've been sitting down and it's because it was asleep, it makes me feel like I need to go walk a little bit just to make sure it's not like a DVT or anything, because last thing I want to have happen is just like randomly be streaming and then all of a sudden heart attack. So, always kind of on the lookout for that shit. That's why I really at some point want to invest in like one of those sit-stand desks so I can kind of find a way to maybe, I don't know, get like a treadmill or something while streaming. I don't know how that would work out, but one of these days I need to figure that out. Anyways, you know, also just in general with how much you use the computer in your daily life, right? Like for me, I'm on the computer most of the day when I'm doing like job applications and stuff. It probably wouldn't hurt to have a thing that puts me in a more neutral position for blood flow. So, something that always is just like back of my mind again. But yeah, that had me a little bit concerned there. Anyways, I did find one paper focused on the world before the advent of the first Umbral Calamity, but it reads more like a work of fanciful fiction than actual academic supposition. Okay, yeah, it does end there. Okay, Y'shtola doesn't have anything new for us. Alice has something new. Graha is quiet. Your efforts to gain Grahatia's attention go unnoticed. He appears lost in his reading. Oh no, he's ignoring us because we ignored him. Alphino. You're better at paying attention. I found naught of interest so far. I think Y'shtola might be right about not getting our hopes up. I'll say it appears in desperate need of a study break. Ready for a tea break, Wiley? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You know the last stand down in the harbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables. I'll treat you to their coffee. It's quite good. Alright. I am good with that. Kind of reminds me of my college days. Me and the friends that I had in the fraternity, we would get ourselves like a study room and hole up for like the entire week, right? And you couldn't really reserve a room to one person for an entire week. But with an organization of people and as many student IDs as we had split between us, we could take over an entire section of rooms for a good, you know, week and a half. And we would all be studying in there, right? And some of us would go a little bit more stir-crazy than others. Me and one of my friends at some point decided, you know, this was back in the day when people widely used Facebook for, like, campus stuff. There was an anonymous campus, like, page that would just post whatever you sent to it, right? So we decided we'd start a scavenger hunt for pocket change. We'd be, like, hiding things in books and stuff for, like, you know, $1 or something. And then just kind of watch people who we knew were just, like, not studying that day go in, check the Facebook, see what was going on, and it would start this whole scavenger hunt throughout the entirety of finals week. And we would just put, like, different things. Sometimes it would be money, sometimes it would be, like, weird fucking drinks we could find. like the Shack soda. I don't remember why it was there, but we had like every store on campus had that weird Shack branded soda. So we bought a couple of them and hid them amongst the stacks. It was a good time. And then one time, we may have got a little crazy. So we stole a couple of those janitor carts, you know, with the trash cans, took out the bin liners, and each threw a person in. And we would make teams, right? For who would go in the dumpster. And we started dumpster jousting in the middle of the library. Because we had just been studying for so long that we all went a little bit insane. It was good times. Yeah, Shaq had a soda. Like, they had his face on it. It was... I don't remember what it was called. I think the one we had was either orange or grape flavored. Actually, I think it was grape because it was like a purple can. Anywho, it was this whole thing. It was kind of fun. Also, hold on a second. I hear my door open. Sorry about that. But yeah, we had all of these kinds of shenanigans that would happen during finals weeks. Because, like, we'd all be studying, we'd all be good about it for the first 2 or 3 days, and then after, you know, like, 2-3 days of studying for about 21 hours each day, you start to go a little loopy. And, that's when the chaos happens. Mostly the smart people would avoid the library because all the students there, whether they were in any kind of student organization or not, would end up in some form of shenanigans in some way, shape, or form. Though they did have, like, and I honestly regret not taking advantage of these, they had, like, tents that they would set up. Some weeks they would bring in, like, just random shelter puppies for people to play with to, like, help de-stress, and other weeks they would have, like, massages and stuff. And I kind of regret not taking advantage of it. But at the same time, I also don't really like strangers fucking touching me. So there was reasons why I didn't do it. But I really do think I should have probably tried to take more advantage of the free stuff that they gave us in college. But yeah, so if anyone out there is currently in college, take advantage of the free stuff that they give you during finals. Just, it might seem like, oh yeah, I have time for it next year. Don't tell yourself next year. You'll never fucking do it. So just go and do it. That's what I learned in college. Never tell yourself, oh yeah, I'll do it next time. You'll never do it next time if you do that. So if there's something that piques your interest, just do it now. As busy as ever, I see. How very Sharlayan that no other gourmet cafe has sprung up to compete for customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions and gauge the mood of the city? I'm interested to hear what the average citizen has to say about the Telophori. We might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? Yeah, might as well. Yeah, I'll say he's doing the same thing as all the other stuff. Hold on. I actually... Because I had that memory of the Shack soda, let me find it real quick. Let's see. It's on a wiki. Oh, okay, it was blueberry flavored. It was a very purpley blue. That's what it was. But yeah, it was called Soda Shack, and it was a promotional drink from the Arizona Iced Tea Company. Honestly, now that I know that it's been discontinued, I kind of regret not buying one. But yeah, there you go. If you want to look for the Shack Soda, it's called Soda Shack. Kind of a shit name, to be honest. But whatever. Oh, let's talk to Alice first. Someone here at the cafe should be willing to speak with us. Let's ask around. You! With the briefcase at lunch. What's up? What is this? Can a man not enjoy a moment of private respite? If you're looking to share a table, then I respectfully request that you look somewhere else. You misunderstand, sir. We were simply wondering if you knew about the Telophoroi. These enemies of peace have promised to end all we hold dear, and... Wait, you're that House Levier girl, aren't you? This man with you is obviously a foreigner. I heard you were disowned for helping outsiders indulge in their barbaric whims. And here you are, giving truth to the rumor. Well, thank you to leave me be. I've naught to say to the likes of you. Well, I must apologize. 'Twas foolish for me to expect 1 ounce of civility from someone so enlightened. Come, Wiley. Let's see, does she have anything to say after that? Nope, okay. Also, the what can't a man enjoy a meal thing reminded me of another, like, clip real quick. Old fucking, thing. From, like, Australia. Let me just, I think it's a... There you go, a succulent Chinese meal. Man getting arrested, right? Here's his thing.
What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
I don't know why, but for some reason the what that guy said just reminded me of this.
Succulent Chinese meal?
It just brought that to mind. I don't know why. Also, I'm having way too much fun with the little YouTube hook. It's kind of nice. Okay, you. Do you know anything? Yes, I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Pray excuse the interruption, but we were hoping you might share your thoughts on the Telophoroi and their unconscionable plans. My goodness. Wait, where? There's Alice. Alice, you need to be closer to talk to someone. It's a little rude to be that far away. Also, how's it going, Char? My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Levier. My apologies, but I work in the office of the Forum, and if word reached Master Fortuno I was helping you... I see. We're sorry to have bothered you. Do you have anything more to say to yourself? Or for yourself? I do not wish to give offense, but your companion is a well-known figure in the city. And you never know who might be watching. Coward! Anyways, Alice, all the customers have been decidedly uncooperative. Maybe the staff would be more willing to answer our questions. Ah, yes! The man who can always help us. Dick on. How you doing? Welcome, sir. What can I offer you today? Wait, is that Mistress Alice I see? My word, how long has it been? Far too long. Meet Dickon, owner of the Last Stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion, in between lessons at the studium. That seems like an age ago now. I remember hearing you and Master Alphino had set sail for Eorzea, but never came back. I don't know, they might have a relative named Dickoff. Though maybe not, now that I think about it, because that just sounds like a dick measuring contest. Lately, there's been gossip going on about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything all right at home? A little personal for a cafe owner, don't you think? It's complicated. And I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with her situation quite so quickly. 1 second. I'm being attacked by a mosquito over here. Anywho. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. Well, it is House Levieur. No matter how discreet Master Fortuno may have been, your family's doings never stay secret for long. And glad I can provide a laugh. Always do my best to try. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now of all times? We have questions, and only Sharlayan has answers. Tell me, Master Dickon, have you heard anything about an apocalypse called the Final Days? Also, hold on a second, I need to close the door to my room so the mosquito doesn't get in there. Well, I might get bitten here, but I'll be okay in my room. So, that's fine. And how's it going? How you doing, Hex? Why the bonk? Why am I being hit? What did I do? I'm trying to talk to my good buddy here, Dickon. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm just going with the way how it's spelt. See? D-I-C-K-O-N. And fair enough. What pain is to be shared, though? Why are you in pain? What, like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. And that's what you're here to find. Information on this apocalypse. Oh no. See Discord. What do I need to see Discord about? What's going on here? Again, Hex? Again? Hold up, I think I have something for this. There we go. I got you a thing for it. Oh, it's the same one. Okay. Well, that's not so bad, then. But yeah. I was concerned that you were like, I did something to myself again. Anyways. Back to what Alice is saying. Yes, whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me. I wish there was more I could do to help. But maybe there is. You're a visitor to Sharlayan, aren't you? You're welcome. Then few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a new server, with none the wiser. We just finished preparing a few orders. Strike up some friendly conversation while you're setting down the food, and you might just get the answers you're looking for. Not a bad idea. I hate to ask it, but what do you think? I think I'm becoming a server. Ow! Why the bonk? Why, Caboose? Why? That's the spirit. Pay attention now, and I'll explain where each of these dishes need to go. The tea set is for the chatty group, sitting by the water's edge. The omelet is for one of our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gazal. Or Jazal. I don't know how to pronounce her name. She'll just have to deal with it however I say it. She's sitting at a outside table with a friend of hers. Behind them, you should see a Makote gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobster. Fair enough. Got all that? If you're not sure, just ask and I'll explain again. Good luck. Okay, let's see what Dickon has to say first. Any troubles? Remember, the T said goes, okay, he just actually tells us. Neat. Unfortunately, we don't need his help because we have these quest markers up here. Oh no. Not the suffering. Not the Gaia speech!
Tell me,
no!
Fight?
Not again!
Very glib. And do you believe in Eorzea?
I think you'll be better off if I stay here, out of sight. Find out what you can, and there'll be a hot cup of coffee waiting for
you. It is an instrument of deception. It is not but a cobweb of lies.
Well, time to be a server.
Is to believe in nothing. In Eorzea,
let's talk to this one first. You work here, don't you? I'm still waiting on that charming little tea set.
Your comrades only rarely respond in kind, which is strange.
There we go, the tea set. Oh, my tea set. Lovely. Thank you.
Engaged. I was given to understand they were your protectors. If you truly believe them your guardians,
I'm sorry. I've never heard of them or their final days.
Repeat the trick that served you so well at Katsuno and claw them down. They will answer. So
I am sneezing a lot today. Either people are talking a lot of shit about me somewhere, or I'm coming down with another cold. Hopefully it's the shit talking.
Icons, everyone, except but this, and you will see how Eorzea's
my friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. Now, if you wanted to hear about our ritual arcane practices of the 6th Astral Era, common or esoteric, then I'd be happy to talk your ear off.
What drives even men of learning, even the great rulers,
damn it, Caboose! Why are you talking shit? Okay, you get the omelet, but I'm not giving you the omelet first. Gods above, I'm starving. I've never known the service to be this slow. Well, how very dare. Have an omelet.
He hath fought ever to
finally, 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's dig in, no time to waste. Your song is terrible.
And when the dust of battle settles, it is ever the strong who dictate.
What? The Telophoroi? Ah, yes, I remember seeing the name in the latest Gazette.
But a single path
and some grand claim about the end of the days.
That of false worship.
Some old senseless warmongering. When will these fools grow tired of spilling each other's blood?
Only a man
Best stay out of it, I say.
The
Forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral.
Of creeping mendacity, that only truth will prove its salvation. Come, champion of Eorzea.
Gods, the anticipation. I've heard it melts in your mouth like the most succulent roast ever made.
As proof of my readiness to rule, it is only right that I should
what will you serve? Oven-baked lobster or urbane banter with a smile? I think we're giving the lobster. At last, the oven-baked lobster is mine. You have no idea how long I've scrimped and saved and suffered for this heavenly dish. The final days, first I've heard of it. Although, that would explain why my friend has been rushed off his feet. It must be busy. Sorry, it must be a busy time to be a gleaner. You don't know what a gleaner is? They're collectors of a sort. Travel the world, procuring things that we haven't got here in Sharlayan. Priceless books, unusual live specimens, and so forth. Yeah, just right on over, he's just like, yes, my lobster's finally here. Yoink! Sorry. This went to the wrong table. So named for the folk who travel after the reapers in the fields. picking up every grain which was missed. Aye, by all accounts, gleaning is a most meticulous and demanding profession. If these Telophoroi make good on their audacious threats, then many uncatalogued rarities would be lost forever. Why else would the gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor, and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads in from the dock all day. It's never been this hectic before. Not like this. Good to know. We shall now talk to Dickon before we talk to Alice. I hope you and Mistress Alice got what you needed. She must be fond of you, eh? I've never known her to bring anyone to the cafe before. Oh? I mean, I'm gonna have to ask now. Who do you think they work for, then? Any trouble with the customers? Were you able to get anyone talking? Interesting. They seem unaware of the final days, aside from whatever vague news the gazettes are printing. Even Dickon had nothing to offer. He's the best source of gossip in the city. If the Forum does have secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job of ensuring no one whispers in the wrong ear. In any case, thank you for playing the part so well here. Here, that cup of coffee I promised. Yes, finally, the coffee I will never drink. Well, let's enjoy our drinks somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind the peristyle, away from the gossips and their wagging tongues. Collecting everything that isn't yet acquired and cataloged in Sharlayan, they worked for the British Museum. You know what? That makes sense. That entirely makes sense, Hex. We've cracked the case. Somebody call in Detective Hildebrand. Tell him his services are no longer needed. Anyways, let's talk to Alice. Yes, this should do nicely. Out of the wind and out of sight. I do want one of those coffee cups.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Sharlayan? Graham said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been, how being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently.
And our first time seeing the Gleaners. Kind of remind me of the first time we see Oompa Loompas when watching Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos.
Yes. Do tell what Labyrinthos is. We've not heard this term before.
A vast complex beneath the island.
Thank you.
Sharlayan is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait! Didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual? Well, I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the Forum. If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
There we go. Makes about as much sense as anything. And I don't know about the coffee, like the cup from, like the Starlight Festival that you're talking about, Hex, like if they made one that actually went on the store. But they did make like a real-life version of those coffee cups, like the latte cups. They actually had them on sale for a while. There we go. Yeah, the Old Sharlayan mug. It is still out of stock. I've been trying to get a hold of one of those for at least a couple years now. But yeah, it's a thing. And fair. Maybe if people liked it enough, they might surprise everyone with it, like, the next time they make, like, merch. But who knows? Anyway, the Labyrinthine Descent. Okay. Alice is excited to share your revelations. We should tell the others what we've learned about the Gleaners. So what we gleaned about the Gleaners? Go on ahead to Numenon. I'll join you in a moment. Master Dickon will want his cups back. Okay. Did I get the shard up there? I don't know. I did not. I got this one. It's a little bit closer. I still think the best thing they've done recently for Final Fantasy is once the sprint expires, you now have jog as like a perpetual thing for getting around cities. I think they finally realized people were spending too much time walking. Like, look at that. It's going to expire and boom, jog is on. And we're still moving faster than the regular run. Because you have run and then you have sprint, right? And now jog is slightly faster than run, so it's kind of nice. There we go. Is that coffee I smell? Did I miss the tea break? Yes, you did. Where is Alice? I thought she was with you. Ah, my loyal assistant returns. There is a lexicon on the first floor that I need you to... Ah, you found something, haven't you? She really just tried to use us as an assistant. Damn. Welcome back, Wily. Been for a walk and cleared your head, have you? Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information about the Gleaners. Makes sense. The Gleaners take their requests directly from institutions and bureaucrats. But as you say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. A sudden significant increase in Gleaner traffic and in cargo It certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let us see what theory we can build from the facts. As Y'shtola observed earlier, Numenon's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with that, Wiley and Alice learned at the coupled with what Wiley and Alice learned at the Last Stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Sharlayans know nothing of that particular period of history. Okay. Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain the destruction being perpetrated by the Telophoroi is wholly unlike these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be so occupied by a duty of such pressing importance that they saw fit to unanimously deny Eorzea's request for aid. And now the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service to the Forum's secretive ends. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves, and if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. Anything would be better than burying my head in another dusty book. I understand. Not everyone is the studious type. Consider this a welcome change of pace, then. Yep. As for myself, there are a few more subjects I should like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place. That would be a great help. Thank you, Raha. Let's head down the stairs over there. I'll show you where the entrance is. Okay, Graha dear. Anything to say right now? Watch your step in Labyrinthos. It's rather more perilous than a simple storehouse, although that will likely make the experience all the more attractive to an adventurer like you. Fair enough. Hey, we found Beavis! Where's Butthead? Are you familiar with the Wandering Minstrel? The tales he spins never fails to engage and enthrall. What I wouldn't give to receive a masterclass in storytelling from the minstrel himself. If only he knew. All those stories are my stories that the minstrel spins. Ready? Labyrinthos is not too far from here, but you may find the path a bit disorienting. I'll take the lead, so stay close. Follow Alice and try not to fall behind. Okay, off we go then. Really, that's... My walking speed is faster! Okay. It's pleasant here amongst the trees, but we really should move along. You're the one moving slow. Feel like I'm walking with an old woman. Feels like that time that I had to take my mom's friend to Best Buy. Now we run. Try to keep up. Still faster than you. Yeah. One time I had to help pick out a computer for one of my mother's friends, and I felt like I was having to like walk far slower than I normally do. I like just a normal gait. I was getting way too far ahead of this person. So I had to like walk about 5-10 paces and then stop and wait until they caught up. Okay, we're going up this way. So yeah, it was an experience. Because like they're not like old enough that they're like in a walker or anything. But it was one of those times where it was just like, okay, we're just gonna walk, now we're gonna wait, now we're gonna walk again, now we're gonna wait. It was more than a bit slow. Here we are. Through this door and down the stairs. You did remember to attune to the shard back there, didn't you? It'll make your life much easier if you need to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, we should keep moving. Well, I can attune now. You didn't stop before. Okay, cool. Oh, wait. When the hell did I attune to that? Anyhow. Guess we're running back the other way. Just gonna hit sprint real quick. And there we go. Why is there a chocobo keep in a building? You seem to, not really have any reason to be here. But okay. Let's see. Welcome to the Hall of Artifice. Should you be looking to descend Labyrinthos, the lift here will take you there. You didn't take a wrong turn into the Rasta there, did you? I doubt the Forum would take kindly to you barging into a private session. I've not been to Labyrinthos for the longest time. Even as a student, my visits were few and far between. How did the Forum learn the final days? And exactly how much do they know? More to the point, what do they intend to do about it? Hopefully, the answer to at least one of those questions lies down below. We're all here now, yes? I've taken the liberty of securing permission for our group's descent. Right. Everyone, onto the lift and down we go. Neat. We're now into our first new area. Well, first new area outside of the major city.
Deep beneath the scholar's city shines a false sun within a fabricated sky. In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves, and this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed.
I feel attacked.
If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation. Knowledge, buried beneath knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
Honestly, it just kind of seems like its own city at this point.
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing.
Yeah, how do they construct a sky?
But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
So anyone down here is living in a simulation.
The island is volcanic, you see. And once upon a time, this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma. It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Aren't those people gleaners?
Oh hey, there's someone familiar.
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Well then.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
Makes sense to me.
Ugh. Did you call to me just now?
Nope. We've seen this before.
How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent. I'll be fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall we?
Okay, let's get to talking to people. But let's not talk to any of these people whose names I can't pronounce. Let's go talk to Dobbin. You want to know what I'm doing? Hauling books, and ore, and fauna. If it needs hauling, I haul it. Every decade or so, they take stock in Labyrinthos. You know, sort and tidy up the inventory. Never seen an operation like this before, though. They did one just a few summers ago, even. Then, with no warning at all, this mess gets dropped in our laps. Orders from on high, damned if I know the reason. Could be they're changing the layout, eh? Preparing for the next big expansion. Your exchange with Dobbin has taught you about taking stock in Labyrinthos. Oh, hey, our friends are somewhere around here. Okay, let's see what Krile has. Most of those gathered here appear to be gleaners. Why don't you wander around and try making small talk? But people are scary. Why would I ever make small talk? See, I'm with you, Stola, on this. I'll just hide out here, away from the people. Nay, I'm not shirking my duties. I've not been down here in an age, and wished to get my bearings before I went bumbling about. From what I can see, however, there is not obviously out of place. It seems... Yeah, it seems we shall have to resort to discreet inquiries as usual. Accidentally punched my microphone while trying to scratch my head. That is definitely a wily thing, isn't it? Let me see. Let me think. The Rhea seeds should be item 158. Human seeds 1059. Snurbbleberry 1060. Or were they 1061? My head feels like it's stuffed with Moko grass. Why, more loads to take out than carry in? Why do all of this at once and risk mixing it up? What if someone mistakes Quirthan carrots for Kirabun carrots? What then? Okay. Someone's a little irate. Hi, Aaronville. Before we talk to you, we have to go talk to Alice and Alphino over here. Start with Alphino. Excuse me, are you a gleaner? If you don't mind, I have some questions to ask. Completely ignores us. Fascinating. But can we go back to what you were saying earlier? Doesn't seem like they're having much luck. Well, Aaronville, new friend, how you doing? You are here to help or give me more headaches? Because if you don't have the look of a gleaner, and I'm in no mood for idle chatter. One of my colleagues was so exhausted he took a tumble and crashed into a pile of crates. Now I have a pack of marmots running loose. Okay. Well then. Good to know the first time we meet him, he's kind of a dick to us. Any luck, Wily? What tales did the Gleaners have to tell? Here you go, and here you go. Fascinating stuff, truly. So this grand operation began without a warning, and for every item they bring in, they're sending more inventory somewhere else. That would explain the haggard faces I've been seeing. We were right, the Forum is definitely up to something. And they're turning Labyrinthos upside down in the process. Alright. And with that, it's almost 10, so let's just put this out there. For anyone who hasn't followed me on any of my socials, please do follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter, join the Discord, and subscribe to my YouTube. We are doing a bunch of stuff over there. Blue Sky, Twitter, and Discord are the easiest way to keep up with me, and I do other content styles on YouTube. So that being the case, we are going to start finding someone we can raid. Well, let's see who's on tonight. Who is doing what? We're gonna drop in on Shade. I don't think we've done that for a little bit. But yeah, Shade is playing Dark Souls 3. Let's go say hi. If you have access to the raid emotes, please use them. And if not, please feel free to use this raid message. Now let's go on and say hi. Okay, I gotta capitalize that and capitalize that one. And I will be back on Friday with, actually, I'm not sure what I'm playing on Friday. It's on my schedule on Twitter. Let me see that real quick. We are playing Okami on Friday because I didn't get the chance to play it on Monday because I was too tired. But yeah, I will be back on Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time with more Okami. And I will catch you all later. Have a lovely rest of your evening, everybody.
Main hand weapon that's hollowed and have 15 following. Betray!